Okay, and I'm gonna let you share your screen so that you can, paste. Oh, you're muted.
I said, do you have all the links and everything before we get
Yeah.
started? I slacked them to you, the updated ones, and I updated the slide.
In Career Mastery?
Career Mastery Slack, yes.
I don't see that.
Slack shouldn't have written.
Oh, Slack, send it to, I'm logged in as Career Mastery. And let's see.
Google Fi, a phone plan by Google. Only pay for the data you use with Google Fi.
Hey, one update that I made that I want to share with you real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, something small, but like, again, talking about emphasizing the community.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of added this slide towards the end when we're talking about the course. Jeez, there's a lot of slides. Here, added you, Roland, Asia, who just got an offer at Airtable, and she's joining the webinar today. Amanda, James, myself.
You had Brianna
yeah.
too.
Yeah, I can add her. But this kind of fit, and I put it together last minute.
Okay.
But we'll see. I think that could actually increase conversions because, like, we hadn't talked about it or made it very explicit.
Yeah.
Last time. So
if you can save a copy of this deck, because I'm keeping in our or maybe just send me the link and I'll add a copy. I'm keeping like archived copies of our decks. We don't have to do it now, but
yeah, I've shared this deck. You have access to this.
Okay. Let's see, 5 minutes. So are the first few slides
same as always?
Okay, so I'll introduce us, blah, blah, blah.
Yep, and we'll get started.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just try to keep intro short as always and try to keep it to an hour.
Can you Slack me the slides link? I have like way too many Google Slides.
Anything else before we get started?
It's good. Okay, so then when we get to the point where we're, sign up here, if you want to leave now, blah, blah, then I'll start sharing the links.
Cool. All right, a few more minutes.
I had nachos today and they were so good.
From where?
Bar Louie's.
Bar Louise?
Bar Louie or Bar Louie?
Louis.
Bar Louie.
That looks weird.
I'm updating my slide. I mean, it's not a whole lot different, but so just if you restart your share. Or like reshare, it'll be updated.
What did you change? I don't see anything.
On my slide, I just had the description stuff updated from my IBM decks.
Oh, okay. I haven't removed it because it doesn't, I guess. Yeah, I just put run dope workshops on mine because I'm like, write React code. I guess this is your side. All right. All right. Any last minute, anything else?
No, I'm just going to download PDF so I can save a copy in our Google Drive. Okay.
Okay, let's go. Got a whopping 2 people in the waiting room. Big crowd tonight.
Yeah, but we actually did better when we had smaller groups as far as sales go.
Whether it's 4 or 4,000, we'll keep the same energy.
So just make sure you're sharing.
All right, I'll start sharing now.
And then right at 7, I'll let people in. Get a little mood going.
Energy. All right. Welcome. Letting people in, Jenna?
Yep.
All right. We got people in. Welcome. New members. Old faces.
So I'll give them 1 more minute. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Job Search Like a Recruiter webinar. Thank you all so much for coming. We're so glad to have you all here. So what I'd like to start with is allow us to all get to know each other a little better. And now that we're all a part of each other's personal and professional communities. So go ahead and feel free to share in the chat your name and pronouns, where you're from, what job you're looking for, what current role you're looking to transition into, and then a quirk, so something that's uniquely weird or different about you. So I'll go first to start. So my name is Jenna. I'm a cloud developer advocate and cloud engineer with IBM. My pronouns are she, her. I'm currently joining from Detroit, and a quirk. So something that's unique to me. Maybe I'll meet a fellow tuna lover. But so I have an obsession with tuna salad and tuna melts. And if it's on a menu, I am compelled to order it. And if it's bad, I judge all of the food on the menu based on how little love a restaurant decides to give to their tuna sandwiches. So it's a little bit about me. So just a quick, brief overview of, who I am and my story. So I moved from Detroit to San Francisco in 2017 to attend Dev Bootcamp, which was one of the founding fathers of the coding boot camps that you see today. I was actually getting ready to apply to medical school and decided to try something else, see if something else would be a better fit. And I actually ended up joining IBM through their tech reentry apprenticeship with a bunch of women with PhDs and master's degrees. And it was really intimidating, but really getting involved in hackathons and workshops in the Bay really got me prepared and ready day one starting at IBM. And I just celebrated my 3rd year service anniversary working there. So that's a little bit about me. Feel free to connect with me on social since we're all part of each other's network now. You can find me at jwritten on pretty much any platform. So it's great to meet all of you. Feel free to share in the chat. And I'd like to pass things over to Anthony, let him get to know you all a little bit better now.
Thanks, Jenna. Jenna is a really good friend of mine. We met back at Dev Bootcamp a few years ago. And yeah, community is one of our core values. So we're really excited to have you all here to share our knowledge, our wisdom. But to give a little background story about myself, I'm currently the head of talent at Woolbot Health. We have a mental health chatbot that's helping us scale digital therapy. And just for context, within the first day our app was live, we actually had more conversations with our users than a therapist could have in a single lifetime. So we're doing a lot of work to try to scale access and reduce stigma. And for the past 2 years, I've been a full cycle recruiter. But for the 2 years prior to that, I was a career coach. So the reason I'm really excited to be here with you, to be here with Jenna and to help all of you is because Jenna and I have both coached people and also helped people get jobs. We both also have college degrees, but this is stuff that we did not learn in college. So we wanted to really share the wealth. And with that said, I'm going to kick us off. So we're here to talk about job searching like a recruiter, which is really AKA how do you win your dream job without applying online. So the agenda that we have tonight is we're going to talk about the mistake that 90% of candidates make and exactly how to avoid it. More importantly, we're going to talk about how to be 20 times more likely to land a job in 90 days or less, and how top performers ace interviews and secure the bag, negotiate for more than they even bargained for. And then towards the end, I'm going to give you all some bonuses and an opportunity to level up and invest in this community today. So I want to spend 60 minutes flat with you, including some of the Q&A. I'm very grateful that you've provided us all with your time. So I'm going to keep us in here hour in and out, and hopefully you learn something and change your career today. So why do I do this work? Well, it really starts with my mom. As you can see from this picture, she's always has my back, has always been my biggest cheerleader. But more importantly, I'm the eldest of three. And I do this work to show them that you could do anything in your career if you're just strategic about it, thoughtful, and also be of service and give back to others. So a little bit even more background on my story. I went to Rutgers University. I graduated from school, but towards like the end of my college degree, I changed my major, and my parents were like, "What the heck are you doing? Like, why are you switching your major so soon or towards the end of your graduation?" But it ended up working out. And here were my grandmothers. I ended up getting a math degree, but I didn't know what to do with that. So I did the next best thing was like, I guess a bank will hire me because I didn't want to be a math teacher or an actuary. Which was great. I got some money in my pocket. I wasn't eating ramen noodles every night for dinner, but I kind of felt like this 9 to 5. Type yes into the chat if you've ever been at a job and 1 minute seems like 1 hour and you're just counting down the seconds until you can clock out. That's how I felt when I was in banking. However, I committed myself and joined a community. Again, community is big for us, called Starting Block. And just imagine if you got 100 people in one room and talked about building socially impactful businesses for 5 days. That's Starting Block. And then when you leave, you have a great community of people and you get opportunities to coach, mentor, speak, and give back. So this is my community of folks that I got to mentor when I went to New Orleans a few years ago. But through this community, I got introduced to Cameron Cloushy, and she is also a Starting Block fellow. And she said, "Hey, there's this great job. I know you live in New Jersey, but there's this great job in California." So she gets me this interview with Dev Bootcamp. I get all the way to the end of the interview process. I'm feeling great. Like, I'm like, yo, I got this in the bag. And I didn't have it in the bag. And they totally rejected me. Type yes into the chat if you've ever felt this way, where your face on the outside, like you were keeping it together for the world, but deep inside, like you were dying and it slowly felt like there was fire burning in your soul. That's kind of how I felt after I got this rejection. But then a few weeks later, they called me back and said, "Hey, somebody on the team quit. Would you still be interested in the job?" And I said, "Of course." So my mind was blown. Long story short, 3 weeks later, I get an offer at Dev Bootcamp. So I'm dancing and Millie rocking my way 3,000 miles to Oakland, California from Newark, New Jersey. So I tell you this story because this is why I think I'm in a unique position to help all of you. In the past 3-4 years, I've had 3 different career transitions. One being Dev Bootcamp, which I just talked about, where I got to work with amazing people, learn, grow, go to magnificent places. I mean, really just have a blast, learn a lot, but also have a good time with my teammates. And then I start to get good at the job and enjoy it. 9 months in, the company shuts down. So I've moved my whole life where I have no family or friends for this job that I loved. And now the company went out of business. So I'm tight. I mean, I'm livid. I really went into a dark place at this time. But with some of the techniques I'm going to show you, I ended up transitioning and getting another job, which allowed me to continue to grow and do what I love at Outco. They have a 5-week program where they teach engineers how to master the technical interview. So again, got to work with amazing people, learned a lot, grew a lot, impacted a lot of lives. And on March 8th, 2019, Outco essentially said, thanks, but no thanks. You did some great work, but we're changing our business model. We're going in a different direction, and that doesn't include you. So there's something about the 9-month mark. And there's something about this quote that really resonates with me from Mike Tyson, which is everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And I've been punched in the mouth a few times the past few years. So what I want to share with you is how I overcame that. Within the first 2 weeks of leaving Outco, I actually had interviews. Within 21 days, I was able to get a job offer. And that job offer came with a $30,000 raise. Now, this is easier said than done. I can look back and say this, but it wasn't all sunshines and rainbows. There were multiple rejections on this path to success. I did have to negotiate and advocate for my value and my worth, and I needed to secure referrals to help me do it in less than 30 days. And I wrote a blog post about it just because that's the goal that I set out to do, and I was able to accomplish it. So, with all that said, what's in it for you? Why should you even, spend your time and stay to the end of this webinar? Well, again, I'm going to talk about the mistake that 90% of candidates make, and step by step, specifically how to avoid it. The process to make you 20 times more likely to get hired, regardless of what industry, role, title that you're looking for. And then more strategically, how top performers even think about interviews, how they convert those interviews to offers, and how you can do it in 90 days or less. But there's more. If you stay to the very, very end, I'm also going to give you an opportunity to get tailored coaching and strategic planning from myself and Jenna. You're also going to get an opportunity to get the reverse recruiting playbook, which is the exact messages that I sent out to get a lot of these interviews and land my job opportunities. And also an hour of salary negotiation coaching, which would pay for itself even if you just stay to the end for that. And to, again, show you an example to show that, I'm not special, Jenna's not special, and that there's a system behind this. Here's Brianna to say a few words about how she got a $10,000 signing bonus.
So I transitioned into software engineering about 2 years ago. Before that, I was working in Japan in games localization. So I came to San Francisco with basically no friends, no connections, no CS degrees, hardly any relevant experience on my resume, with this idea that I wanted to become a software engineer. I had no concept of negotiating salaries. I thought that I should just be grateful for whatever I got, basically. And I didn't want to come off as greedy to a new employer. With your help, you kind of coached me through it, but I was able to negotiate a $10,000 signing bonus for my new position. So obviously really excited about that.
And I share that not to impress you, but to impress upon you that there's a system behind these results. And for the next 45 minutes, I work for you. So we're going to have time for questions towards the end, but share them in the chat. Jenna will help facilitate those. And we're going to dive into some of the content. But remember, stay to the very end to get an opportunity to level up and get some coaching, because regardless of where you are in your career, if you're a new grad, if you're trying to switch industries, the best top performers in the world have coaches. Oprah Winfrey, LeBron James, people who are top and world-class actresses and actors. So really stay to the end to get an opportunity to get some coaching from our community. So part one, the mistake, that 90% of candidates make, and exactly how to avoid it. Well, they don't apply to jobs in that exact same way that companies fill jobs. 80% of open jobs aren't even listed online, yet most people only apply online. Lou Adler, who's a 30-year veteran in recruiting, talks about this in his blog post and his podcast. PayScale, which is a reputable and solid company and resource that you can use when you're looking for salary data, they also talked about it on their podcast. Again, 80% of jobs are never listed, but 70 to 80% of people are only applying online, as opposed to getting in touch with real people, which we're going to talk exactly how to do. So first, we got to understand, how do companies actually fill jobs? And again, as a recruiter, I can confirm this. Step one, they look internally. Is there anybody we can promote? Is there anybody who can maybe even take on some of this work extra? So there's people internally trying to shoot their shot, whether it's a promotion or doing some extra work. And step two, they look at networking. Who do they know? Who do their employees know? And all of this is before they even post the job online. Cultivated Culture, great website. Austin Belsack, a good friend of mine, he talks about it in his blog post. Look, in companies are spending
Oh, no worries. I think Anthony might need to just rejoin.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay,
Sorry.
cool. We're
I
good.
the link here. So as I was saying, follow Austin. He also has some great content around how these strategies and everything we're talking about today, how COVID has impacted them. A lot of these strategies still hold true. So after step 2, then companies, again, me as a recruiter can speak to this, start looking for resumes. They start going on Indeed, Monster, ZipRecruiter, LinkedIn. And even when they're looking at your resume, they're only taking 6 to 10 seconds to scan it, right? Because recruiters are looking through hundreds, if not thousands, of profiles. And the very last step is then we post a job online, right? Then we start looking at inbound applications, inbound resumes, et cetera, et cetera. So you have to ask yourself, do you want to be on this side of the pie where all of everybody is competing for the same job and there's a lot of noise? Or do you want to dance at the money bank and be on this side of the pie? I don't know about you, but type yes if you want to be in the hidden market, what I'm calling that. So if you focus on the hidden market, you can win your dream job twice as fast. In the public market, they focus on your skills and your experience, really what you look like on paper. But in the hidden market, they're actually looking at your past performance, your potential, because you're coming through trusted sources like referrals. Again, when I got that job at Dev Bootcamp, this is what my resume looked like. As a recruiter, I would say this is a pretty poor resume. I mean, it's not terrible, but I might have overlooked this resume for having like a cheeseburger and a calculator on it. But I had a very strong referral. I knew my audience would appreciate this, and I knew the statistics. 1 in 250 applications online gets hired, but 1 in 4 referrals gets hired. So again, you don't have to be a mathematician. You're 20 times more likely to get hired with the referral. So you're saying to yourself, Anthony, this is great, but how do I actually do it? Show me how this actually works, which leads us into part 2, how to 20x your chances of landing that job in 90 days or less using this philosophy that I just talked about in part 1. So it really comes down to job search like a recruiter, which is why we're all here. But in order to do that, you need to understand how do recruiters recruit. And that's what I'm going to show you literally next, which is actual screenshots of people that I've interviewed, not necessarily hired, but people that I've recruited, exactly what I said to them and how I got in their inbox and how I actually got them on the phone. Heidi was a machine learning engineer. I told her I was impressed with her background, especially working in healthcare, and that I want to have a long-term conversation about her career goals. Again, short, sweet. I'm not spamming her. I'm being honest. And then I also said, hey, would you like to just explore a conversation? Again, I'm not selling her a job. I'm selling her growth. And she said, sure, Anthony, would love to talk. Next was Mariah. She was another machine learning engineer that I said, hey, I really like that you've studied in Africa, Europe, South America. So I really took the time to personalize my message. And she got back, booked time with me in less than 24 hours. Desmond, I said, hey, we have a mutual connection. Someone else who's a really good friend of mine. Since I respect their work, I felt comfortable reaching out to you. Desmond said, hey, I'm not looking for a job right now, but thanks. And I said, hey, would you at least mind maybe letting me know an engineer in your network that is looking for a job? And the no turned into a favor, turned into Desmond saying, hey, I'll actually share your job with our internal job board. So the way that you can apply this to your job search, and again, this applies across industries, seniority, whether you're a new grad or somebody later in their career, more senior, is reverse recruiting. And this is exactly what it looks like. So with this technique, you're going to be able to land a referral in 14 days or less. But again, with career mastery, with our community, we like to be purpose driven. So why does this even work in the first place? Well, it saves companies time and it saves them money. I mean, if you owned a business or even if you work at a company, these are 2 most important assets, and one being time, which is one that you can't get back. So in terms of saving money, companies will actually give referrals anywhere from $250 to $2,000 and even higher when somebody in their company refers somebody else and they hire them.
So when you're landing a referral, it's essentially a win-win. You get the job, and if you get hired, the person who referred you gets a nice little check. So prioritizing referrals over applying online is how you get results like I did by, being able to land a job in 30 days or less. But I want to add more structure for you. So if you're going to implement this, first you need to start with your first, second, and third degree connections. So little definition. First degree is people that you know. These are people you can trust that vouch for you, that can vouch for your work. These are some of the people that maybe if you get a job offer can be reference checks for you, right? Some of these people you could text right now. But on March 8th, when I left Outco and I had the tight face and I was down on my luck, I went to my first degree connections. And I found that there was a company that actually really resonated with my values, my personal mission, and my skill set. And that company was BetterUp. So I said, went into LinkedIn, said, what people at BetterUp are first degree connections of mine? And I saw Angela Marshall and Malum. Now I prioritized Malum because he was actually on the recruiting team. Still a really great friend of mine, brilliant mentor. And again, on March 8th, I left Outco. I took a break, only a few days. I would advise job seekers, don't take 2 weeks off. I know it's very hard if you get furloughed or get let go from a job, but don't lose that momentum. So on March 8th, I left Outco. On March 12th, I messaged Malum. By March 20th, he said, hey, I'm connecting you with Kat, who handles the recruiting for that role that you've been interested in. And by March 25th, I had a job, not a job, but a job opportunity and an interview. So second degree connections. These are people who you're mutually connected to and that know. And what you want to do is you want to ask your first degree connections for introductions to second degree connections, right? Ask these people for people that you know, that you trust, that are actually looking to fill the type of roles that you're looking for. Speak to second degree connections and mention your first degree connections. That way they'd be even more likely to have a conversation with you. And what happens is, if you do this enough, you actually start to create your own luck. And with third degree connections, which are these last people, these are people you don't know, right? But that can still make a difference in your job search. So with these folks, you want to be extremely aligned because this is a harder sell. Perfect example was Gloria Yee. Last year, I hired a data analyst. I didn't end up hiring Gloria. However, she reached out to me before I even posted the job online. And when I looked at her LinkedIn profile, she had the skills that I was looking for. So who do you think was the first person I interviewed for this role? Gloria. When you're reaching out to third degree connections, you also want to be persistent. Remember Malum that I spoke about? Well, in 2016, 2017, when I first moved to the Bay Area and I was working at Dev Bootcamp, I sent Malum a message and I said, hey, I see you're hiring interns. He was at Thumbtack at the time. Can we chat about how I can help you? Right? My job was to get people jobs. Malum said, thanks for reaching out. I got a great team. Essentially, he said, thanks, but no thanks. And he was trying to let me down easily. But I persisted, which most people wouldn't do. And I said, hey, appreciate you being transparent. Let's stay connected. I did some research. I see we both work in downtown area. Let's have some coffee. Type yes into the chat if you would reply positively to this. Type no into the chat if you wouldn't. What would people say to this? Just out of curiosity before I show you the answer. Any interesting replies, Jenna?
Got a few yeses.
Okay, a few yeses. What else we got? Anybody said no?
Not yet.
Cool. All right. So most people will reply to this message. Malum said, persistence is key. I've sent you a calendar invite for coffee. And what I hear from a lot of job seekers is like, how many times I should follow up, or I don't want to follow up. I'm being, annoying. No, follow up. Your career is relying on you to follow up. So again, you might be saying, Anthony, this worked for you. how can this work for me? This is all great, but how do I apply this to myself? Well, that's where Jenna and I created the 4-step reverse recruiting formula. First, it's establish your calendar. So what you want to do is use a tool like Calendly. It's a free tool. And what it allows you to do is create times and essentially a menu for somebody to select from when they want to book some time with you. So instead of saying, hey, does Tuesday at 3 or Wednesday at 4 work, and doing this back and forth, use a calendar tool like Calendly. It'll fundamentally change your career. It's similar to when you go to a restaurant and there's too many items on the menu. If you give them a menu of your choosing and you select times that work for you, then not only are you going to be able to add more calls on your schedule, but also you're going to save your potential person's time, and you're going to get brownie points, because now they don't have to go back and forth with you to try to, get some time to help you out, right? You're making it an easy yes. Excuse me. Next, step 2 is you're going to have to make your list. So you can easily go into something like LinkedIn. You can go to filters and you can prioritize. Again, that's why I set it up this way: first, second, and third degree connections. Now, if you were looking in the Bay Area and you wanted to work for a company that was in the health, wellness, and fitness industry, and you were looking for second degree connections, this is what that query might look like. And again, a recap is that you want to start with those first, second, and third degree connections. First are people you know, people you can trust. Second are people that are connected to your first degree connection. And third degree are people that you don't necessarily know, but can make an impact on your job search. Now, when you're thinking to yourself, okay, Anthony, this is great, but who do I reach out to? Who are the decision makers? So as a recruiter, speaking from my own experience, hiring managers are decision makers. These are people that might be a manager of yours if you got the job. So if you're an engineer, reach out to engineering managers. If you're a project manager, reach out to, senior project managers or senior coordinators. If you also want to reach out to recruiters. Literally, if you're aligned with a role and you're reaching out to a recruiter, you're saving them time. Recruiters spend hours looking at resumes, sourcing, looking for candidates. And then lastly, you want to prioritize teammates. If you're a project manager, reach out to other project managers. If you're an engineer or developer or designer, reach out to other designers. Because again, most companies offer a referral bonus. So if any of these people get you hired, there's going to be, even if it isn't a monetary value, there's going to be some type of kudos or, well wishes for them. Number 3 is you want to actually, make the ask, contact them on social. So when you do this, this is a key to not spamming. Acknowledge them as a person, say why you're reaching out to them, and then make a clear call to action. Make a clear ask. And these are the templates that you can use to do that. Literally, you can copy and paste these. These are the exact templates that I use, the exact templates that Jenna and I have coached people to use to land referrals in 14 days or less. And again, because I appreciate you, if you stay to the very end, I'm going to give it to you all for free because I love you. And what we're also going to throw in is the job search toolkit. So this is a list of all these resources and knowledge that I'll be sharing today. So don't worry about, what was that resource that he mentioned and forgetting, because we put it into one neat package for you here. So that's exactly how you can land a referral in 14 days, and how, if you stay to the end, we're going to give you some tools, resources, and community to amplify that strategy. That last piece, that why I left it for last, is that most candidates overlook this, and this is where most candidates fail. What you want to do using this reverse recruiting technique is prioritize volume and consistency. And what I mean by that specifically is reach out to 50 to 100 people per week. Now, I know that might have made some of you uncomfortable, but type yes into the chat if you like 5 to 6 posts per day on Instagram, right? If you can like 5 to 6 posts on Instagram per day, you can reach out to 5 to 6 people to advance your career. And it's as simple as that. It's not easy, but it's consistency. And there's some discipline involved with using some of those techniques I showed you. And it comes down to sales, right? Sales has something called the sales funnel. And what it says is that the more people or leads that you put into the top of your sales funnel, the more opportunities you have to convert those people to sales or relationships or what have you. So if you think about your job search, if you did nothing but use LinkedIn, email, and Twitter, reached out to 50 to 100 people per week, you would yield, and again, you have to do this consistently week over week, that would yield about 2 to 3 referrals. And 2 to 3 referrals can easily turn into 1 to 2 job offers. But again, you got to ask yourself, do you want to be in the public market? Do you want to apply online where everybody else is playing? Or do you want to be in the hidden market? Type yes into the chat if you want to dance to the money bank. Because I mean, I do. And there's a lot of opportunity out here. Don't let COVID and, headlines and other things, deter you and make you think that companies aren't hiring. Apple has been the most, posted the greatest profits ever in 2020. Amazon, Target, Walmart, e-commerce, like COVID actually created a lot of opportunity too. So don't let, the news and other things deter you from having opportunities and taking advantage of it. Make sure you follow recruiters. Follow me. I just posted this the other day, but a gentleman named Eugene Hayden, who's a data scientist, posted this, which is, again, I told you to reach out to hiring managers. He literally created a database for hiring managers at companies like Apple, Asana, TikTok, Shopify. So follow myself, follow Jenna, and start to follow, people in the space that are sharing great content. More importantly, throughout this process, be proactive, shoot your shot. This is Jessica Bain, who a few years ago got an internship with Spotify because instead of just applying with a resume and cover letter, she reached out to Spotify on Twitter and she said, hey, here's a playlist that represents the value that I would add to that internship, right? So also get creative, think outside the box. And the last question you might be asking yourself is, Anthony, if I apply all of these techniques, people book time with me, what the heck do I say? Well, a gentleman named Nathan Perez wrote a great book called The 20-Minute Networking Meeting. And the gist of it is you want to ask very thought-provoking questions. You want to gather intel and get referrals because we already know that can 20x your chances of getting hired. And you want to offer reciprocity. You want to say, hey, thanks for taking the time to speak to me. How can I help you? Right? If you do these 3 things, this leads to more interviews and more referrals. And when I say thought-provoking questions, ask questions like, you're hiring for this role. What does success look like? Why are you hiring for this role? Hey, I want to be an engineer. As an engineer, what job search advice would you give me? Or what job search advice would you give yourself if you were going through my job search right now? Right? What's your team's biggest challenge? How can I offer value to you? If you just stick to these questions, again, you create your own luck and it's easily, you can land a referral in 14 days or less. So that's reverse recruiting in a nutshell. Speak to real people, apply online as little as possible, add value, and make it easy for people to say yes to you. And if you're saying, Anthony, I have a full-time job that I don't love and I'm trying to, make a career change, or, hey, Anthony, I have a lot of obligations. I have a family. If you have nothing, if you only had 1 hour to spend on this, I'd say use the 60-20-20 rule. Spend 60% of your time reverse recruiting, spend 20% of your time content marketing, posting on LinkedIn, writing blog posts, liking people's content, commenting on people's content. And then I would say 10 to 20%, very minimal, applying online. And if you do this consistently, it gets results. So closing out here, I know we're a little bit past the 30-minute mark. Again, I want to leave ample time for sharing more resources, more community, and also some Q&A at the end. But part 3 is, okay, you've applied reverse recruiting, you know where you want to go. How do you start to ace your interviews and actually convert those interviews into an opportunity that can change your career for the better? So first, it starts with your big domino. Lauryn Hill said it best. How you gonna win if you ain't right within? If you don't get your internal house, your internal compass in order, how can you, capitalize on the best opportunities when they come your way? I talked in depth about this in my 21-day job offer story because I needed to do this internal searching in order for me to find that job that quickly, right? I had to really get to know myself better and also define what my priorities were and my non-negotiables. So we broke it down into 4 simple steps. First, prioritize. Make first things first. So is it money? Be real with yourself. If it is, how much is it? Give yourself a minimum and give yourself a maximum. Don't be, over, zealous on your predictions, but also don't sell yourself short. Are you saying to yourself, hey, Anthony, money isn't as important to me. I just really want to learn and grow. I'd be willing to take a pay cut. Whatever that is, write it down and prioritize it in order. That way, whether you apply to a job or whether a recruiter approaches you about a job, you have a list and you're able to prioritize and make decisions a lot quicker because you have your internal compass set. Next, you want to define your target because you can't hit what you can't see. Michael Hyatt has an even better quote, which is when you get clear on the what, the how starts to show up. A real tangible, example from me in terms of my personal development and how it's impacted my career was creating a blog. In 2017, 2018, I launched Tech Dirty with Me with a mission to help people flourish in their careers and life. And I said I wanted to create a blog to really develop my skills. I wanted to have fun. And I just wanted something I could be proud of, right? And I committed to sharing that on Facebook, on different social, and I just made a commitment to it. I didn't say, hey, I want to go viral, right? I just made a commitment to myself. And by committing to myself and doing the work, to this day, I'm very proud of this work. It's a blog that I can really say that like I made the decision to do this and here's how beautiful it is and how much growth I've had as a result of the journey of creating this. But here's where all the residual impacts. I had somebody actually reach out to me about a job opportunity. If you aren't now, I would say start some type of blog because at the end of the day, employers want to see how you think. If you have a blog post that articulates that, then you're saving them time, you're saving them money, and you're giving yourself a leg up on the competition who might only have a resume. I also got invited to Atlanta to attend a tech conference because somebody somehow just found my blog. And I also had a post actually go mini viral and had like thousands of views and likes, which I've never had. So that was kind of like a nice, ego boost. But when you get clear on the what, the how starts to show up. Jay Shetty also has a great quote. He said, you can only take the world as far as you've traveled internally, right? So all of us want to change the world and make a difference in the world, but we got to change ourselves first. So when you get clear on that mission, think big and be specific about what do you want to be a year from now? Who do you want to be? Limitations aside, education and background aside, what does that target look like for you? And again, I'm a productivity and goal setting geek. So I talk about this and have videos and blog posts about it. But the simple example is think about it if you were going on a mission to Mars versus the moon. Those are substantially different targets, right? If you're going to Mars, you're going to need more fuel. You're going to need more food. You're going to need better technology, right? You're going to need so much more than just getting to the moon. And think about it as if, if we were all in the ocean treading water, what would happen if you arbitrarily pick the direction to swim in? You might not make it, right? So you got to be strategic about what direction are you going? And when you set that direction, the how and the why of how you start to get there will start to show up. A resource that can help you even shortcut this is crash.co. I've been on their podcast. They have their motto is burn your resume. They're really teaching people how to create digital resumes that help, again, job seekers land jobs a lot quicker. Why I also love them is they have some great content. So if you're saying to yourself, hey, Anthony, I want to get into tech, but I'm not sure what I can do. You know, they have career guides where you can look at customer success, operations, marketing, sales, right? Every role in tech isn't engineering or web development, right? There's so many more things that make a business successful just other than just engineers, right? Nothing against engineers, but start to, you know, get strategic about your direction. Career Explorer is also another great resource. Through this, you can find, you know, maybe you want to be, you know, a certain role or a certain title, but maybe you got to go back and get a degree. Maybe you need to go to a boot camp. Maybe you need to take a course. Whatever it is, you don't have to start from scratch. And then if you want to do research on companies, Owler and Crunchbase are great for you to be able to decide, okay, you know, what products do I want to work on? You know, what are these companies doing positively to change the world? And second to last step is get your energy aligned. So often, job seekers will, you know, maybe you lose your job or you're afraid to lose your job. You update your resume and then you just immediately starting apply online, as opposed to asking yourself, what is my energy telling me? Right? Type yes into the chat if you've ever been in a toxic environment and your energy was just shot all day, right? It didn't matter how much you were paid. It didn't matter what projects you were working on. It was just a toxic environment. What we need to find is, what is our energy telling us about the people, projects, topics, you know, places, products? Like, what are those things that energize you, right? And for me, it's productivity and personal development. So I'm just lucky and grateful enough that I get to work for a mental health company, right? Because that energy totally aligns with what gives me life and what sets life into me. The last bonus that I would say is take a skill set inventory. It's one thing, like, for example, like I couldn't go tomorrow and get a job as a software engineer. I don't have the skill set to do that. So also be realistic about where are you currently and where do your skills need to be to get the job that you want. And again, you don't have to start from scratch. Crash.co, which I mentioned previously, they actually have a career quiz. And you can go through it, and based on your answers, it'll tell you, you know, what skills do you have, what career paths you might be able to enjoy. And Career Explorer, although their test is a little bit more in depth, will give you the same thing. So even if you're starting from zero and you want to make a career transition, there's tools out there that are free that can help you start to think about, where do I want to go? So step one, get clear on your priorities and your non-negotiables. Step two, get clear on your mission. What is your target? Where do you want to go? Just set your direction. Again, get clear on the what, and the how will start to show up. And really, really get clear on what is your energy telling you, right? Our body, our gut, right? Our instinct sends us signals about what we should and shouldn't be doing. And what we have to, the skill that we have to develop is sometimes just listening to ourselves, right? So that's your big domino. And the last piece before we close out is, how do you master your interviews? Well, first you need to start with your success database. Here's what mine looked like when I went to Wobot. So again, one of my skills are recruiting and coaching, right? So I literally have a little PDF that shows, like, these are all the people I've coached. This is all of the people and how much, you know, salary negotiation I've helped people with. I also have built relationships and done marketing and personal branding. So here's some of the panels that I facilitated. Here's some of the podcasts I've been on, right? And again, this isn't to compare me to you, right? We all have our gifts, but the fact of the matter is, sometimes we don't give ourselves credit for these things. So really take inventory and start to say, what are all the things I'm really, really good at that I can brag about, right? Even if it's in a volunteering context, right? Community is very important to me. I volunteer with Hack the Hood, which invests in underrepresented youth from Oakland and from around the country, right? I've done mentoring and coaching with Starting Block, right? So even if it's not a skill set that you're using your full-time job, maybe it's something you're volunteering for. So you want to have that success database so you can be successful in your interviews. Now, in addition to that, you want to have questions that you're always going to be asking in your interviews. when you reply and when you give any answer, what I often like to do is say, are these the type of skills that would be valuable in this role? Would my skill set be valuable to the team? Right? As opposed to getting off the phone, being nervous, second guessing yourself and saying, did I do good? Literally, you can ask this question in the interview towards the end to try to get a temperature check. And an even better temperature check that I always like to ask is, are there any gaps in my skill set that you'd be concerned about? If so, can we talk about them now? As opposed to, I know you're busy. I just want to take time to talk about it now. These are totally professional. And even if you get rejected, you're going to get valuable information and feedback that companies aren't necessarily giving you. Another piece behind this is that specificity rules. What you can do is use the 3x5 trick. Make your bullet points quantifiable as much as you can. Use numbers. Talk about what you achieved, why you achieved it, and how it impacted your team positively. Use blog posts to try to figure out how to do that. But again, on March 8th, when I was let go, I needed to think about really just loving myself and take care of myself, right? So for 2 or 3 days, just, ate a little bit of junk food, shed a few tears, tapped in with my community. But on March 11th, rather, I got my big domino in order. I did the 3x5 trick to start prepping for my interviews. And as you see, by March 12th, I had reached out to my alum. And all of that led to my 21-day job offer. I might have lost that opportunity if I said, hey, I'm going to take 2 weeks off and just relax and get my mind together. And so many job seekers do that. Again, nothing against you if you do, but you can miss out on a lot of opportunities if you don't strike while the iron is hot. So a bonus success habit is practice. That's simple. Practice timed and recorded. This was something that, again, until I started coaching people, until I started working with Jenna and others and seeing results of this, I'd never practiced or prepared for an interview really. So the questions that you must be able to answer if you practice nothing are, tell me about yourself, walk me through your resume, right? Give me an overview of your background. Now, what you can see here is that this directly aligns with the big domino and also the 3x5 trick, right? It's making you be short. It's making you be succinct. Another is, tell me about your most significant professional accomplishment. That sounds like the success database. And even if recruiters don't ask this specifically, they're looking for this data to make a decision about whether they hire you or not. Another one is that I specifically like to ask is, what criteria are you using to make your next career decision, right? And if somebody gives me a really good answer to this, I know they've prepared. And again, if you write down your big domino and are clear about your priorities, you can easily answer this question. So now that we've reached the end, excuse me, I'm going to grab some water. Just know that you're in the top 10%. Why? Because now you know the mistake that 90% of candidates make, exactly how to avoid it, the step-by-step process that we use to 20x your chances of getting hired through reverse recruiting, and then exactly how top performers ace interviews and secure the bag. So if you want more, then this next session is for you. And I want to thank you for being here today. But if you don't want to land a referral in the next 14 days and actually take action on this, if you don't want to ace interviews, right? If the timing isn't right and you don't want to win your dream job in less than 90 days and secure bags you never thought possible, then this next section isn't for you. Again, if you stay to the very end, we're going to give you all the resources, but if you leave now, you'll still get the resources and we'll still be in touch with you. But if you don't want to invest deeper, then we're going to see you later. So again, just for staying to this point, you're going to get the reverse recruiting templates and you're going to get the job search toolkit. With that alone, it can massively change your career. This is literally years of testing, iteration, trial and error from me, Jenna, and our community. But if you want to level up and really invest in yourself and make a change in your career, then we're going to offer you the Career Mastery course. Through the course, we offer the exact templates that I use to land my dream job in only 21 days. We also go deeper into how do you answer any interview question. I gave you the questions to ask in interviews and what questions you need to be able to answer, but we give you through the SAFW technique exactly how you can answer any question. We also give the Not Your Mama's Salary Negotiation Guide. This is how Brianna and others negotiate 10 to 25% higher salaries. And most importantly, we talk about the top 3 mental hacks that you need to stay focused and motivated throughout the job search. So here's a sneak peek into what the back end of the course looks like. Again, it's 90 minutes of content. It's not hours and hours and hours of content that you have to go through, but this 90 minutes can help you land a job in 90 days or less. And it's really transformational. So module by module, we first start with mindset. We go into career clarity. And then we talk about, again, how do you strategically land more interviews? And then how do you actually close the deal? In module 1, we talk about mindset, right? If you feel stuck in your career, you're not alone. And we talk about how to overcome those mental hurdles. Next, we talk about clarity. How do you set really clear career goals if you're unsure what you need to do next, right? In the third module, we talk specifically about how to land more interviews. Again, we go into resume, we go into LinkedIn, we go into deeper how more companies fill jobs. And then in the last, we talk about how to answer any interview question, how to uncover what recruiters really are looking for in the job, right? Not just what they say in the job description. And more importantly, how do you negotiate that offer? And if you sign up tonight and tonight only, you'll get 30 minutes of tailored coaching and strategic planning from myself and Jenna. Because again, even the best people in the world have coaches. So we don't want to just give you a course and, send you on your merry way. We actually want to give you coaching too. If you sign up today, you're also going to get the Dream Job Roadmap. It includes the big domino and some of the other pieces that can help you get rapid results. We're also going to give you a 60-minute salary negotiation coaching. I mean, if you signed up tonight only for this, it would pay for itself. Brianna is a testament to this. Asia, I don't know if she's on the call, but she's somebody else that is in the community that is accepting a job offer very soon. And we took her through some coaching as well and was able to negotiate for a higher salary. But again, I don't want you to take my word for this. So before I tell you about how you can invest in it, I want to show you what Amanda's story was like, because she did this during the pandemic in 90 days or less. Here's a little bit about her story.
So I love the Career Mastery course, and I found it very beneficial because it definitely teaches you a lot about networking and reverse recruiting, and I really think that people don't know enough about that. Like everybody always says, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know, but nobody actually step-by-step tells you how to meet these people or go out and put yourself out there so that they can meet you. So I think that was really great, and it gave me a lot of ideas and a lot of information to really to reverse recruit and really put myself out there so I get the job that I wanted.
So again, what I'm going to share with you next, in addition to kind of more about Amanda's story, is that this isn't going to cost you an arm and a leg. And I even want to change that to, this is an investment. Jenna and I are both have college degrees, but college didn't teach us this. I've been a career coach and I still offer career coaching to people, and it's not going to cost you what a career coach would cost you. And I also do consulting and write resumes. It's not even going to cost you what a resume writer would cost you. And since the pandemic started and we've been in quarantine, it's not even going to cost you what, one lunch a week would cost you if you did it every week for a year. And I'm not asking you to, cancel your Hulu or Netflix subscription, but it's also cheaper than a year of Netflix and Hulu. And it's only $199. We're going to talk a little bit more about it, but another piece that is priceless that I want to share is really the community. So through the community, we have a Slack channel where people are helping talking, coaching, collaborating. And we're going to be doing more meetups just like this. We're going to be doing more masterminds, some of which you have, exclusive access to if you sign up for the course. But this isn't just about, selling you a course and sending you on a merry way. We're really building a community of people because your career doesn't stop with your next job, right? We really want people to grow and thrive. So as we close out here, we're going to show you how you can invest in the Career Mastery course. At this point, you can take the red pill or the blue pill. The red pill takes you to a job in less than 90 days. The blue pill will help you stay in contact with us. It'll also give you all of the reverse recruiting templates that you came here for. But if you're stayed to the very end, then I think that the red pill might be best for you to, again, get the community, exclusive access to the coaching, the salary negotiation, and also lifetime access to the course. As we learn more, as we get more testimonials, as we improve our strategies and our techniques, we're also going to improve these things and add them to the course. And I can guarantee you that this won't be $199 forever. So I'll close out here. Jenna's going to share these links in the chat here. But to kick us off, any questions about the Career Mastery course and how you might be able to invest today, or questions about the job search? Do we have any that came through the chat, Jenna?
Not yet. And feel free to unmute and ask your question if you want as well.
Wow, Asia said it works. I just accepted an offer today. I actually had 2 offers. Oh, I love to hear that. Actually, but if nobody has any questions right now, Asia, would you like to share your 2 cents? Because you were in, just a little background, Asia attended our last Job Search Like a Webinar, or Job Search Like a Webinar, Job Search Like a Recruiter webinar a month ago, and has 2 competing offers and just accepted one.
Yeah, and actually, listen, I got 30 seconds to chime in because I'm actually about to get on a call to turn down the other offer. So
Yes.
I appreciate you. Like, you taught me so many things. And the biggest way that I got these 2 job offers was from networking. Like, if your LinkedIn is not up to par, like, get on LinkedIn, update it, follow Anthony. Like, he was so great with that advice from how to negotiate, how to answer the interview questions. I just went through a 3-hour
I'm on the computer right now. Let me finish what I'm doing, okay?
So anyways, if you're hesitant at all, don't be. He's great. He walked me through it. He held my hand because there was times where I was nervous, like, am I ready for this? Yes, you are. And I transitioned from the teaching field into tech. So if you have dreams of pivoting your career, I would definitely say go for the Career Mastery, because I didn't know anything about the tech industry. And now, like I said, I'm about to go to turn down the offer that I got. So I got them through networking. Network, reach out to people. And just like you said, if you can like some posts on Instagram, you can get on LinkedIn and connect with people, and just be thoughtful with it. Be thoughtful with what you're saying, make your ask, get that Calendly together, and the world is yours.
Everybody, if you have 1 minute, unmute and say yes for Asia.
Yes.
Yes, Asia.
Congrats, Asia.
Congratulations.
Thank you, everybody. All right. Yep. I got to go. But if you want to make that switch, do it. Invest in yourself. Invest in yourself and go full throttle. Have a plan A and stick to it. And you'll do it. You'll succeed, because I'm a success story. So,
Thanks, Asia.
All right.
And I wanted to add too, we're all a part of each other's network now. So Asia is now someone that's a part of your network, joining the Career Mastery Network. She's now someone in your network that you know that works in tech at a company that you can reach out to connect, ask questions to, ask for referral. Anthony and I are in your network as well. And and this is really what we're building here is this community. And we're gonna, like Anthony mentioned, and Asia just mentioned how important your LinkedIn is. So part of some of the things that we're starting to expand on as part of the course are with these masterminds are things like LinkedIn workshops and getting all of the pieces set up to really help you succeed. So these are things that we're going to spend time with that you're going to get in addition to purchasing the course. Are we're going to meet monthly and work on these things together and really help you get set up.
Thanks, Jeanette. Carly, I saw you raise your hand. You had a question.
That was accidental raise hand. But I appreciate all of this information. This is great. You've done an awesome job, and it's motivating.
Definitely. Thank you. All right.
Great job, Ant. I really appreciate the information. This is Mike.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate you, bro.
Yes, man. Loved it. Love the structure. Love what you're doing here and a lot of the use cases that you have for a lot of the work that you're doing and then the testimonials. It really was, it was great. I really appreciate it. Thanks, brother.
Most definitely. Appreciate the support, Mike. All right. Any questions before we close out? Jenna shared the links here. If you want to invest in the course, the community, make a career change. Yeah, we really want to expand upon this. So we'll also be coming out with content later on around the first 90 days in your job, right? Because, as you see, reverse recruiting, all these things work. Asia is a testament to it. I was really happy that she was able to show up. I wasn't sure because she's negotiating bags as we speak. But we also are going to be coming out with content around like, okay, you got the job. How do you be successful in it? Because your next job is often not your last. So yeah, excited to have you all here. Any final thoughts before we shut down?
No, I think we're good. We're like Anthony said, we're going to keep coming out with more content. We're listening to all of your needs and needs of others with other programs in the community, and we're going to just keep coming out with more content and adding to the content that's already there. So as we add, you'll have access to everything as we add it.
Gotcha. Congrats, Daryl. Daryl said he just started a software engineering gig with Ford last month, and would love to be informed about our 90-day content.
Coming soon. Give me a little time, but it's in the works.
Gotcha. All right. All right. Well, we will see you all next month. Next month are probably going to switch it up and do a event that Jenna's going to lead around mock interviewing and really just an opportunity for job seekers to kind of connect, share their journeys, because oftentimes we're going through the same frustrations, right? So it's easy to feel like you're alone. So next month we want to do something different and do it more about community connection, and also have a focus on mock interviewing, right? Because it's easy to say, oh, you should practice, but when you're in a group and you're held accountable to it, you often have way better results. So
you don't want the first time you practice these things to be at your interview.
Exactly. Get all the bad interviewing out with us.
All right, so we're going to give you guys a space to practice and really clean things up and really be prepared. All right. Well, thank you guys all so much for coming. Highly encourage you all to reach out to us on LinkedIn, follow us, connect with us, and we will see you at the next event coming up next month. You all have a great rest of your week and an even better weekend.
All right. Peace and love. Thank you all. Thanks, Carly.
Hey, how you doing, Anthony?
Very well, Lake. How are you?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can't hear. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, how you doing?
I'm very well. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Someone was just taking my attention. So do I need a code for? Do I need a code? It says it's a coupon code for that.
Do you need a code?
Do I need to put a code on? I'm looking at the.
Oh no, we don't have any promo codes.
Oh, okay. Oh, just go ahead and just put the information in there.
Yeah, and what I would say is that we know from if you purchase today, we know that you came from the webinar, so you'll automatically be tagged and get access to like those bonuses and things. All right.
Oh, okay. All right. Hey, you still in the Bay Area or?
Yes, sir. I'm in Oakland.
Oh, okay. I mean, I was in um, Pittsburgh, but I'm thinking about relocating to Utah. Salt Lake.
Midwest is the best.
Never been to Utah. I hear it's beautiful though.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll let you guys go. I'll just get my information in there. All right.
All right. Thank you, Lake. Feel free to
All right.
reach out to Jenna and I on LinkedIn too if you need any help getting set up. All right.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
What card should I use? Which card am I using? My credit card or my?
All right. You want to shut off the recording so this could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then hop back on for a few minutes.
Yeah, let me close it and then reopen it.
All right, I'll do the same.